Hello, this is Robbie Mitchell here from Head in the Cloud Development. Today I'm going to show you how to use the SuiteScript 2.0 API to add a custom button to a sales order record form in NetSuite. To give you a quick preview of what we'll be covering, I'm going to show you how to create a user event script that adds this print summary button, and then we'll create the client script that makes the button work when you click on it. For our example, the print summary button will generate a special PDF printout of this sales order. This is a common use case because in NetSuite, each custom form can only be natively tied to one print template. So take a look at the items on this sales order. It has 10 lines on it. They're matrix items making up 5 sizes of 2 different t-shirts. Here's what the regular printout of the sales order looks like. It shows all 10 lines as you would expect. On the other hand, the print summary printout groups the matrix items together, like this. It just shows 2 lines, combining the quantities and amounts for each matrix parent. So again, the idea with our button is that if you want to be able to print the same transaction on 2 different templates, you'll need to create something like this. And as a bonus, I'll show you how to use the SuiteScript to add some extra awesome sauce to a print template. So before we get into the code, a few quick things to mention. We're mainly going to be covering a user event script and a client script here. They're both very simple, only a handful of lines of code each. But nonetheless, to understand what I'm going over here, you should already have some familiarity with SuiteScript. If you don't, there are other tutorials you should watch first, like my good old SuiteScript 101 tutorial here on YouTube. Finally, the code I'll be showing here is in TypeScript using the Head in the Cloud upload bundle. To see a tutorial on how to set up this build environment, watch my other video titled NetSuite SuiteScript 2.0 Intro WebStorm. I'll also show the plain JavaScript code here as well in case you're using Eclipse. Okay, now let's get to it. First, I'm going to delete this script so we can walk through the process from scratch here. So back on my sales order now, if I refresh, the print summary button is gone. So step 1 here is to set up a user event script that puts this button back on the form. Let's do it. So now in WebStorm, I'm going to create a sales order ue.ts file here in my SSV2 folder. First, I'll fill in some metadata here and add my entry points context import. The script entry point we'll be using here is the before load function. And we're going to set this button to only show up in view mode. So now we'll add our print summary button to the form object, specifying that when clicked it should call a function called print summary. Then the other important thing we need to do here is link in our client script, where we're going to put this print summary function. So here I will set the client script on the form object. And that's it, so now I'll upload this file. And before we continue, here's what the JavaScript looks like for this file. You can ignore line 10. So now back in NetSuite, we'll create the script record and deploy it to sales orders. Now if I refresh my sales order, the button shows up. Now we just need to create the client script that will have the function that runs when a user clicks on this button. So for that, I'll create a sales order cl.ts file here in my SSV2 folder. Again, first I'll fill in some metadata here and add my entry points context import. Now, in order for this script to qualify in NetSuite as a client script, it has to have at least one client entry point. So even though we're not going to use it, we'll add in an empty page init function here. Now let's add our print summary function. We're going to use NetSuite's current record module to access this record's ID. And then we're going to look up the URL to my custom transaction print suitelet. And with the call to look up the URL, we pass in the record ID and the print template ID to use. And finally, we'll use this URL in a call to window.open. Now we'll upload the script. And as promised, here's the JavaScript version of this file. Now back to NetSuite. Now since this script file is linked into the form in the before load function of our user event script, we don't need to create a script record in NetSuite. The button should work as it is now. Perfect, that's the result we're looking for. Now, in case you really want to do something like this on your end, I'm going to show you how this printout is set up on the back end. So again, if you notice, there are 10 line items on my sales order that get grouped together into 2 lines on the printout. Now I'll show you this print template. Now technically it is possible to do right here in the free market template, but to do this in the template language is difficult and you end up with a bit of an ugly mess of code. I find it much cleaner and easier to do in SuiteScript. So this is the print template I'm using, and instead of having an items table here, I just have a tag for it that will get replaced by my suitelet. So now I'll show you the print suitelet. Here's how it works. We read the rec ID, rec type, and temp ID parameters that we passed in our client script. Then on line 24, we load in the transaction record to be merged with the print template. Then we call generate XML, passing in the record object and the template ID. So here on line 49, we're loading the print template and merging in our record data. Then this is the special bit here on line 54. In my print template, we have this special items table tag, And here we're replacing that tag with a value from a custom inline HTML field we have on the record. That custom field stores the HTML for the grouped item lines. So when the PDF is rendered, the items table tag gets replaced with the HTML items table that I had stored in that custom field. So that's all for now. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Feel free to get in touch if you ever have any questions. At Head in the Cloud, suite scripting is what we do all day, every day. So let us know if there are ever any NetSuite projects you need our help with. Otherwise, we'll see you at SuiteWorld.